last episode was switched off in utter disgust by over 37 million anxious viewers, those two wrongs, Boris and Natasha, were proving they couldn't make a right bad idea.
Think, darling, think. There must be something really rotten we can do today.
I'm thinking, but the worst I come up with is helping to make Moose and Squirrel show 1 hour longer.
Oh, just like you, darling. Always trying to help others get a little more pain out of life.
Then suddenly a thought struck him like a 20,000-volt charge.
Boris, you have great idea.
No, but I have defective cord and electric pencil sharpener.
I have it, darling. A contest. I like being evil because, in 25 words or less.
I like it.
And so the Twisted and Foul contest found its way to people in every walk of life.
Hey, Gurney, my lunch is wrapped here in a paper telling about that evil contest. You figuring to enter? Gurney always was one to try a thing out first before he'd send it in.
I hate to do this, but I've entered that contest.
Help yourself. I'm entering too, so I've been selling fake jewelry all week. The wife's home with the real stuff.
So by the time you find this note, Fred, I will be gone with a swag and maybe first prize in the contest.
The contest was racing across the country like wildfire.
Oh, it's gratifying to know there's still some bad left in the world.
True enough, to enter a contest this vile, one would have to be a pretty low, contemptible, loathsome type.
You left out naughty.
A loathsome and naughty type, or just plain stupid.
Hold up a minute, Rock. I gotta mail this contest entry blank in.
Bullwinkle, you mean you entered that Why I Like Evil contest?
Evil? I thought it said Weevil.
Well, why should you like a weevil?
'Cause I had distributing rights on them for 2 years. I almost made a fortune.
Almost made a fortune. Well, what happened, Bullwinkle?
They had cotton all over him. It drove the prices down.
And as sure as the post office department sells 4-cent stamps commemorating the birth of Raymond Navarro, Bullwinkle had come up with a winning entry in Boris's despicable contest.
Listen to this. I like evil because I have complete distributing rights for it in Moosylvania. That's it. First prize.
Back at the post office.
Bullwinkle, do you realize that you mailed a contest blank that says you have the distributing rights on evil someplace?
It's just for Moosylvania.
Moosylvania? What's that?
What's that? I wish I could remember.
If only Bullwinkle could remember. Moosylvania was and is a small land adjacent to the United States, populated by absolutely no one. 0 people, 0 production, 0 space development, 0 everything. But on the other hand, no taxes, no laws, no traffic, no extradition treaties, and no late shows that feature Johnny Downs and Richard Dix as 2 men lost over a Pacific island.
I have it!
You have what, Bullwinkle?
I have Moosylvania. I just remembered. It's been handed down in my family. I'm governor, superintendent, owner, and cleanup janitor.
But at that very second that Bullwinkle was delivering those staggeringly funny lines, the contest first prize was speeding its way toward him.
What did you send, Boris Sweetovich?
A complete set of the Encyclopedia Badenoch.
And
when you open volume 7, Mastodon through Muskox.
which includes Moosylvania.
And also 237 kilotons of TNT.
Package for Bullwinkle J. Moose.
Oh, goody. I'll bet it's those Billy Sol seed kits I ordered from the Department of Agriculture.
Oh, what can happen on our next nerve-pulsating episode? Blast off Speedia with Encyclopedia, or Off to Heaven with Volume 7?
And now it's time for...
Time for the dancing fool, Bullwinkle.
Again? And now for one of our special fairy tales.
Yeah.
Once upon a night, there was a cat, which in itself isn't unusual. What is unusual is that this particular cat had cold feet. But being smarter than the ordinary cat, he had a plan to remedy that situation. He climbed to a fence by one of the small houses of the kingdom and began to yowl at the moon for all he was worth. Inside of the small house, a young man who worked very long and hard in the okra fields for his bread and beans was sleeping. Or that is, he was trying to sleep.
I reason that he will soon grab the first thing that's handy, which will be his boots, and throw them at me and shut me up, and... here they are now.
The The cat then slipped on the boots and his feet were nice and warm. Meanwhile, the young man suddenly realized that he had thrown away the only pair of boots he had in the world and quickly dashed out to get them back. He saw the cat wearing his boots and grabbed the rascal by the neck.
Something's the matter with my throat. I can't talk.
Trying to steal my boots, huh? Just for that, I'm going to doom you.
Now, if there is anything that Pussycat didn't want, it was to be doomed, and he did some mighty fast talking.
Please, man, don't doom me.
Why not?
I'm a magic cat.
You're crazy.
No, really, I could talk, can't I? You know very well ordinary cats can't talk.
Not even in cartoons?
I'll prove it to you. I hereby give you 3 wishes.
Oh, boy. All right, Magic Cat. For my first wish, I want you should make me rich.
Easy, man. I'll get to work on it first thing in the morning.
Early the next day, the cat set about the task of making the young man's first wish come true, but not exactly in the way that the young man had imagined.
Now, you stay in there. You want to be rich, don't you?
Yeah, but...
Relax, then. All you have to do is stay 150 rounds with that monster, and you'll win 1,000,000 pazouzas.
Yeah, but...
1,000,000 pazouzas is a lot of pazouzas, and... Good grief, here it comes.
No.
The fight was on. And oh my, the Berserk Turk was more berserk than he'd ever been before. He fought like a madman, and the poor young man took an awful beating.
Oh, but that smarts. Oh, that's going to be blue tomorrow.
But somehow, the young man held together for the required 150 rounds and won the money.
Well, I did it, man. Yesterday you were nothing. Now look at you.
Let me ask you, am I still alive?
That I don't know. What's your next wish?
No, you don't. I couldn't stand another wish. Go away.
Ah, nonsense. You still have 2 wishes coming. You're not going to waste them.
Well, I...
Now that you're a man of means, how about wishing for a big house to live in? Come on. We'll get to work on it right now.
Now, it so happened that the only house for rent in the kingdom was one inhabited by a huge ogre. But the rent was a little more than they could afford for...
2,000,000 pazouzas?
But the clever cat had a scheme. He took out a small jar of termites and set them loose in the house.
Hey, Ogre, come here. You're missing the chance of a lifetime.
I am?
Why, sure, you got a pigeon here. You should sell him the joint. The place is loaded with termites. Take a look.
Termites? Good heavens, I had no idea.
Well, ogres seldom do, you know.
The ogre quickly sold the house for 1 pazooza and 38 cents, which is a good price even for a termite-infested house, and dashed away, happy as a troll.
What kind of a magic cat are you? You let me buy a house that's falling apart. Get out of my sight. Go away.
Not so fast. You still got 1 more wish coming in.
I don't want it.
With it, I will get you a bride so you can live happily ever after.
No, I don't want a bride?
Right. Now you wait here.
And the cat dashed off and in no time at all selected a bride, and the young man was married. But he didn't exactly live happily ever after, for...
You're just a lazy loafer, that's what you are. Scrub the floors, wash the windows, pay the kids.
Sheesh. What did you do? Pick her out of a bunch of good ones?
You pay attention to me while I'm yelling at you.
Yes, my love.
Now what about my fur coat?
Yeah, what about that?
I don't have one, that's what's about it. Everybody in the kingdom has a fur coat but me. You go into town this very minute and get me one.
But you spent all my pazouzas, my love. I can't get you...
No excuses. You get me a fur coat or else.
So, once again, the young man turned to the cat and asked...
Please, Magic Cat, grant me 1 more wish to help me get a fur coat.
Sorry, man, but I'm now retired. Besides, us magic cats never grant more than 3 wishes to a customer.
But I gotta have a fur coat.
Don't come to me with your problems. You got yourself into this mess, get yourself out.
All righty, I will.
Hey, what do you think you're gonna do? Don't look at me like that. Stop!
And so, once upon a night, there was a cat with cold feet, cold knees, cold chest, cold neck, cold face, cold ears.
And now for all you aspiring intellectuals, here's Mr. Know-It-All.
Hello, aspirings. Today's thesis is how to cure the hiccups. Now, in order to cure the hiccups, you must first have a hiccuper. You got the hiccups, Boris?
What for I got to have hiccups?
So I can cure them. Oh, never mind. I'll help you get hiccups, then I'll cure them. One of the most popular ways to catch hiccups is to eat rich food.
That's rich food. Looks just like chicken.
It is chicken.
Chicken isn't rich.
Then we'll make it rich by stuffing it with dollar bills, pieces of 8, a few pieces of 9. Now down the hatch. Splendid. Now let me hear those hiccups.
Can't.
Why not?
'Cause rich food agrees with me.
Another way of getting hiccups is overexertion. You all set to run?
All set.
Then you're off! 2 hours on the cinder path. You have the hiccups?
No, but I got the Davis cup, the gold cup, a mustache cup, and the cup of coffee.
When you really get down to it, the only thing that'll give you hiccups is to drink 42 gallons of milk. Bottoms up!
Oh boy.
Now let me hear what I'm after.
How's everything going, Mr. Know-It-All?
Oh, the whole thing's a bust.
Well, better luck next time. Thank you, Mr.
Wouldn't you know it?
And now...
Hey, Rocky, watch me pull a rabbit out of my hat. See? Nothing up my sleeve. Presto! Wrong hat.
And now it's time to meet Mr. Peabody.
Hello out there, Peabody, way back, and Loser here. The loser is Sherman. Tell them how you got the black eye, Sherman.
I ran into a door.
Oh, come now, Sherman.
It's true. Eddie Door. He lives across the street.
It seems you could profit by some pugilistic instruction.
Huh?
Boxing lessons.
Oh.
With that in mind, we shall set the way-back controls for London, England in the year 1867.
Who are we going to visit?
The gentleman responsible for the rules governing modern fisticuffs, the Marquis of Queensbury. Although we'd used the way back extensively in the past, it hadn't lost any of its punch. For there we were inside Foot's Athletic Club. Standing in the center of a boxing ring stood the Marquis of Queensbury himself, and what appeared to be two pugilistic contenders.
You've heard my rules, gentlemen. See that you abide by them. Ready, set, proceed.
With that, two combatants dashed pell-mell at each other to engage in a most graceful exhibition of the minuet.
They're not fighting, Mr. Peabody.
Keen observation, Sherman. The exhibition lasted 2 hours, and when it was over, we quickly cornered the Marquis.
I should like to devise rules for boxing, but I've never been in a fight in all my life.
We can fix that, Mr. Queensbury.
Sherman grabbed a bucket of water and handed it to the Marquis.
You see that fellow standing in line over there? Pour this bucket over his head.
Willing as they come, the Marquis went over and followed Sherman's instructions to the letter.
Oh, you did that.
I did. Why do you ask?
Here it comes, Mr. Peabody. He'll get it for sure.
But instead of hitting him, the fellow shook hands.
Oh, thank you, mate. I've been standing in this ruddy line all day waiting to take me shower. Now I've had it, and I can go see my Daisy.
That having failed, Sherman suggested we adjourn to the Epsom Downs racetrack.
The horses are rounding the far turn and heading for the last jump. Oh, Jove, this should be a smashing finish.
Here, Mr. Queensbury, take this detour sign and put it in the middle of the track. Hurry!
Queensbury had just used the sign as Sherman had instructed when the horses thundered up to it, read it, made a sharp turn to the right, and ran off directly into the clubhouse.
Who is responsible for that ruddy detour sign?
He is. I guess you're going to give him what's coming to him now, huh?
I certainly am. Here, sir, is a reward of £5,000.
It seemed as though a hold-up had been in progress inside the clubhouse when the horses galloping through had put a timely stop to it. The Marquis was a hero and Sherman was a failure. Again.
Gee, I thought that would work for sure, Mr. Peabody. What do we do now?
We will let me take over. Noticing it was exactly 4 o'clock, I called to a passing waiter.
Your pleasure, sir.
A cup of tea for me, a cup of tea for the boy, and the Marquis of Queensbury would like a cup of coffee. This, of course, was against all English tradition, and the waiter found it impossible to control himself.
Over your tea time, eh? I'll teach you, you blinking traitor.
So far, so good for part 1 of my plan, and wasting no time, I quickly put part 2 to work. Stepping between them, cease! I should like to call it to your attention. This is hardly the place for such activity.
Right, then. I'll meet you in the gym at 5 o'clock. Gracious. Now I see what you mean by a set of rules for boxing. Chap could get injured this way.
You better dash home, Mr. Queensbury, write some rules, and then get to the gym.
The Marquis heartily agreed. Unfortunately, 1 hour later, he still hadn't arrived with the rules.
That Marquis is a ruddy chicken.
No, he isn't. Here he comes now.
Oh, I'm sorry to hold things up, but I had to pick up this suit of armor.
I seized the rules for boxing he had written, and sure enough, Rule 1 stipulated the combatants could wear any raiment they wished.
Well, if that's the case, I'm going to use this here bloomin' battle axe.
Mr. Peabody, they'll kill each other.
Quick, Sherman, I need a dictionary and a penknife. The knife Sherman had. The dictionary was found in a nearby locker.
What are you going to do, Mr. Peabody?
Whittle! What else? While the Marquis and the waiter squared off to do battle, I whittled the dictionary down into a page and a half. Here you are, Marquis. Here are your rules for boxing.
Must wear gloves, must be rounds of 3 minutes duration. Capital, sir, capital.
You did it, Mr. Peabody, you did it.
Don't I always? We watched in satisfaction as the Marquis and the waiter settled their differences in a gentlemanly fashion.
That waiter's got a neat left hook.
Yes, but this will be his last fight. You see, he'll eventually go into the exercise business and become famous in his own right.
Famous, Mr. Peabody?
Why, yes. His name is James Lawrence Nasium.
I never heard of him.
You never heard of gymnasium?
In our last episode, Boris Badenov and his equally vicious friend Natasha had found the perfect way to acquire a lifetime supply of fiendishly tricky ideas.
A contest. I like evil because in 25 words or less.
It could be even bigger than the Sonny Tufts for President movement.
And it was. Entries poured in from every corner of the world.
Merle, don't you think as astronauts we ought to tell them the Earth ain't round, it's got corners?
Shucks, Otis, lying to him might be a way to win that evil contest.
Shifty people everywhere responded in 25 words or less. Shifty, or those whose cerebral functions respond conversely to the impulse transitions normally required for a motory reflex action. Or in other words, stupid.
Well, I've mailed my contest blank.
Bullwinkle, you've entered the evil contest.
Oh, I thought it was Weevil.
And you guessed it, Bullwinkle has been judged first prize winner. And the first prize was a complete set of the Encyclopedia Badenov, designed to eradicate Bullwinkle and Rocky.
When they turn to Volume 7, Mastodon through Muskox?
Moosylvania will be a boomtown.
Mastodon, Macedonia, mulching, it's here someplace.
Now, darling, he has turned to Moosylvania.
Monocle, mother. Here it is, Rock. Moosylvania.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Says here, Moosylvania, although eminently qualified for statehood in the U.S., has never made the grade. Huh, wonder why.
If the flash lasts this long, the boom will be a Lulu.
No flash and no boom boom Lulu, Boris.
And Bullwinkle read on about the tragically narrow misses Moosylvania had had in its fight for statehood.
Then it is agreed, gentlemen, that the 13 original colonies shall join with Moosylvania and become the 14 United States of America.
Hey, hold it. When you bring a job to the Betsy Ross Flag Manufacturing Company, there ain't no alterations included. Now, if you want 14 stars instead of 13, that comes extra.
Yes, Moosylvania was the first victim of government's fight against deficit spending. Over and over again, Moosylvania had narrowly missed statehood, and as Bullwinkle read on, tears formed in his sympathetic eyes.
Golly, Bullwinkle, why are you crying?
Well, Rock, it's because...
Hello, Moose and Squirrel, first place contest winners. You sure you're reading about Moosylvania?
Nope, that's why I was crying, 'cause I can't read and I was running out of stuff I'd memorized.
Look, Moose, you got wrong book. Eureka through Glafny.
Show him, wonderful twisted genius.
See? Mastodon, Macedonia, mulching.
Boris, no.
Moosylvania.
But seconds before the dreadful explosion, Rocky and Bullwinkle had slipped away to catch the 526 for Washington, D.C., where they were about to launch a gigantic campaign.
Statehood for Moosylvania, Rock, just think.
Golly, Bullwinkle, just like Hawaii and Alaska.
Gee whiz, Rock, they trying to get it too?
But as the train flashed on, Boris Badenov was no longer idle.
Boris, the moose and squirrel, they left on train for Washington.
It's all part of prearranged master plan.
How despicably clever of you, darling. You mean train is...
Exactly. Added for fake Washington, D.C. is really Butte, Montana, completely disguised to look like capital of U.S.
What unspeakably twisted scheme does Boris have in mind? We'll find out in our next episode called Resign Your Fate to a 52nd State or Moosylvania Mania.
Hi there, culture and archery fans. Today's poem is The Arrow and the Song by Longfellow. I shot a arrow into the... Ooh, my, that's smart. Well, try again. Smaller bow. I shot it into the air. It fell to earth. I know not... Oh! Boy, it's a dangerous poem. I shot a arrow into the... Oh, Faz. I chunked the arrow into the air. That's better. It fell to earth, I know not where. But when it...
You lose an arrow, Moose.
Why, yes. Did you find one?
What's it look like to you?
Looks like about 30 days. So if your feathered shaft should soar up high among the sparrows, you'll always know the final score. No hits, no runs, no arrows.